Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Nurse Dan. Have you ever wondered what your blood pressure should be, or even what those numbers mean? Well, in today's show, I'm going to tell you what you need to know about your blood pressure and 6 ways you can lower it and keep it in a healthy range. All that coming up in a bit. So first, let's start off, what is your blood pressure? Every time your heart beats, it pumps blood into your arteries. And blood pressure is the force of that blood against your arterial walls. Every time your heart beats, blood pressure is at its highest. And that's the top number, or your systolic number. Now, in between beats, your blood pressure is lower. And that's what we measure your diastolic blood pressure, or the lowest pressure that's inside your blood vessels. So now, what are the ranges of blood pressure that we have to look out for? Well, I'm going to go over them now. So, some important blood pressure ranges to know. Normal is considered any blood pressure less than 120 over 80. Pre-hypertension, which means that you're more at risk to develop hypertension, is between 120 over 80 and 139 over 89. And stage 1 hypertension, that's going to be between 130 over 80 and 139 over 89. Stage 2 hypertension, that's anything higher than 140 over 90. Now a hypertension crisis, now this is when you want to call 911, that's going to be anything higher than 180 over 120. So what is hypertension? Hypertension is when a person's blood pressure stays higher for longer than normal. And when it stays high consistently over time, this causes your heart to consistently pump harder. And the increased cardiovascular stress may lead to serious health problems, such as heart attack, stroke, kidney, or heart failure. Alright, so now we're on to the top 6 ways to lower your blood pressure, starting with number 6, quit smoking. Why quit smoking? Well, smoking constricts your blood vessels, which increases your blood pressure. Each cigarette you smoke increases your blood pressure many minutes after you stop smoking. Stopping smoking helps your blood pressure return to normal. And quitting can help reduce the risk of heart disease and improve your overall health. Also, people who quit smoking may live longer than people who never quit smoking. And it's the nicotine in cigarette smoke that's the big part of the problem. It raises your blood pressure and heart rate, narrows your arteries, and hardens their walls, and makes your blood more likely to clot. It stresses your heart and sets you up for a heart attack or a stroke. I'll share an interesting article from Unity Point Health. I'll include the link in the description box below. It's a timeline of the effects when you stop smoking cigarettes. So only after 20 minutes of quitting, your heart rate and your blood pressure will drop closer to normal levels. Nicotine harms the inside of your blood vessels and reduces the amount of oxygen the heart receives, making the heart beat faster, and the damaged blood vessels work harder. This very short period of time allows your body to begin to repair itself. Within 2 hours of smoking your last cigarette, your peripheral circulation will improve. Peripheral veins and arteries are located in the arms, hands, legs, and feet, and they supply oxygen to the body. As your body rids itself of the chemicals in cigarettes, your hands and feet will start to feel warmer. Now, around after 12 hours quitting smoking, the level of carbon monoxide in the blood drops back to normal. Carbon monoxide replaces oxygen in the blood cells, making it so that your heart is not getting enough blood. Once the carbon monoxide is gone, there is more oxygen in your body. After 1 day, your risk of heart attack drops. People who smoke have a 70% higher chance of having a heart attack because of the cardiovascular dangers associated with smoking. Smoking also increases your risk for blood clots, another major issue to heart attack. Now, this one's interesting. By day 3, there's no more nicotine in your body. Each time you smoke, the nicotine your body needs to get that buzz is amped up and requires more frequent cigarettes. It's this cycle that leads to addiction. So I guess that makes sense when they say that the first 3 days are the hardest. Now, 2 weeks after quitting, circulation and lung function improve. As stated above, cigarette smoke damages your blood vessels. As time progresses, they will begin to repair themselves. Even in a small amount of time, like 14 days, your body is becoming more healthy. Now, around 1 to 9 weeks after quitting, smoker norms become less prominent. Now, this is coughing and shortness of breath. You will also be able to do physical activity without feeling as winded or sick. Your withdrawal symptoms will also start decreasing. 1 to 9 months after quitting, the lungs will start to repair themselves. Even the smallest of functions within the lungs will begin to work properly, and shortness of breath and coughing will decrease even further. About 1 year after quitting, the risk of getting coronary heart disease is only half as high as smokers. Smoking has been proven as the direct cause for 1 in 5 heart disease deaths. The risk of developing heart disease is 2 to 4 times as likely in smokers, and this risk decreases by half when you stop smoking. Between 2 and 5 years after quitting, the risk of developing mouth, throat, esophagus, and bladder cancers is also reduced by half. Women's risk of cervical cancer is also decreased. Now, after 5 years of not smoking, your risk of having a stroke drops to the same level as that of non-smokers. Smoking accelerates the development of blood clots, which are the factor in strokes. Quitting alleviates this stressor. Within 10 years after quitting, your risk of dying from cancer is now half that of the smokers. 15 years after quitting tobacco, your risk for heart disease is now the same as if you never smoked. And after 20 years of quitting smoking, it's estimated that you have saved over $71,000 by not buying cigarettes. What would you do with $71,000? And congratulations, because after that, you have just added several years to the end of your life. Number 5, limit the amount of alcohol you drink. So, alcohol. Alcohol can be both good and bad for your health. By drinking alcohol only in moderation, which is generally 1 drink a day for women and 2 drinks a day for males, you can potentially lower your blood pressure by 4 points. Let's remember that 1 drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or 1.5 ounce of 80 proof liquor. But now that protective effect is lost if you drink too much alcohol. Drinking more than moderate amounts of alcohol can actually raise your blood pressure by several points, and it can also reduce the effect of any blood pressure medications you may be taking. Scientists have also found that binge drinking increased the development of atherosclerosis, or the hardening and narrowing of arteries, which can lead to a heart attack or stroke. Studies have also shown that continued alcohol use across several days creates a more sustained rise in blood pressure. Because of this, consistent binge drinking and alcohol abuse can lead to chronic hypertension. Alcohol is also high in calories and sugar. Alcohol-associated increases in body weight and obesity can further elevate the risk of high blood pressure on a long-term basis. Number 4, reduce the sodium in your diet. Even a small reduction of the amount of sodium in your diet can improve your health and reduce blood pressure by 5 to 6 points if you have high blood pressure. The effects of sodium vary among groups of people, but our target number we want to look for is we want to stay below 2,300 milligrams of sodium a day, or 2.3 grams. However, a lower sodium intake of less than 1,500 milligrams a day is recommended for most adults. Here's a few tips. First, read food labels, and if possible, choose lower sodium options of the regular food that you buy. Eat fewer processed foods. Processed foods are full of sodium. Try to stay away from processed foods as much as possible. Don't add salt. Just 1 level teaspoon of salt is 2,300 milligrams. That's your entire day right there. Try to use herbs or spices to flavor your food. And ease into it. If you don't feel like you can drastically reduce your sodium intake overnight, then cut back gradually. Your taste will adjust over time. Number 3, eat a healthy diet. So eating a diet that's rich in whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and low-fat dairy products, and skimps on saturated fat and cholesterol can lower your blood pressure by up to 11 points if you have high blood pressure. This eating plan is known as the Dietary Approaches to Stop Hypertension, or you've probably heard it as the DASH diet. It's definitely not easy to change your eating habits, but here's some tips. Keep a food diary. Writing down what you eat, even just for a week, can shed surprising light on your true eating habits. Monitor what you eat, how much, when, and why. Consider boosting potassium. Potassium can lessen the effects of sodium on your blood pressure. The best source of potassium is foods, such as fruits and vegetables, rather than supplements. But make sure you talk to your doctor about what is an appropriate potassium level for you. And last, try to be a smart shopper. And that goes back to read those food labels when you shop and stick to your healthy eating plan when you're out dining too. And number 2 is exercise. Now, regular physical activity is 2 to 3 hours a week, not all at the same time. That equals out to about 30 minutes most days of the week. Can lower your blood pressure 5 to 8 points if you have high blood pressure. Regular physical activity also makes your heart stronger. And a stronger heart can pump blood with less effort. If your heart can work less to pump, the force on your arteries decreases, lowering your blood pressure. It's important to be consistent though, because if you stop exercising, your blood pressure can increase. So to keep your blood pressure low, it's important to keep exercising on a regular basis. It takes about 1 to 3 months for regular exercise to have an impact on your blood pressure. The benefits last only as long as you continue to exercise. Some examples of aerobic exercises that you can do to lower your blood pressure include things like walking, jogging, cycling, swimming. You can also do high intensity interval training. Some people know it as HIIT training. And strength training can also help lower your blood pressure as well. Aim to include strength training exercises at least 2 days a week. But talk to your doctor about developing an exercise program though. You don't want to hurt yourself trying to be healthy. Counterproductive. And last but not least, numero uno. Lose extra pounds and wash that waistline. So there's a correlation where blood pressure often increases as your weight increases. Being overweight can also cause disrupted sleeping like sleep apnea, and that further raises your blood pressure. Weight loss is one of the most effective lifestyle changes for controlling blood pressure. Losing even a small amount of weight if you're obese or overweight can help lower your blood pressure. In general, you can reduce your blood pressure by about 1 point for every kilogram that you lose. And a kilogram is about 2.2 pounds. And according to national guidelines, for every 20 pounds that you lose, you can drop your systolic blood pressure, that's the top number, by 5 to 20 points. And another interesting fact is 1 pound of adipose tissue, which is fat tissue, contains 200 miles of new blood vessels. So even just losing that 1 pound helps your heart not have to pump through that much extra blood vessels. Studies have also demonstrated that higher body fat contributes to atherosclerosis, which only compounds the risk of heart attack or stroke. And besides shedding pounds, you should also keep an eye on your waistline. Carrying too much weight around your waistline can put you at greater risk of high blood pressure. And in general, men are at risk if their waist size is greater than 40 inches, and women are at risk if their waist size is greater than 35 inches. But these numbers vary among ethnic groups. So ask your doctor about a healthy weight measurement for you. And that is it. Thank you so much, folks, for tuning in and letting me talk to you about the top 6 ways to lower your blood pressure. Please, if you got anything out of this video, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified of any new videos that I put up. So I hope you guys got at least something helpful from this. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Well, in today's show, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about your blood pressure. No, not everything.